Hey everybody, how are we doing? Let's just see if the sound is okay. Deirdre, just do that if you can hear me. Good woman, good woman. Hi Roberta, how you doing? I can see you there as well. Thank you. So everybody can hear me. Let's see, we've 29 on, so that's a few more, I imagine. See Dr. Chitrali, I'll just unmute her. Hi Dr. Chitrali, can you hear me? Maybe she's not there. Oh, she is. Hi, Doc. Can you hear me, Dr. Chitrali? Okay, you're unmuted,
Hello.
so maybe your microphone is off or something. Anyway, not to worry. Dr. Naheed is not there. Rajvinder is there. Hi, Raj.
Hi, Noel. Hello,
Hey.
everyone.
How you doing?
Yeah, good, good.
Good.
Hi,
Is
Rebecca.
it nice and sunny up in Dublin?
It is quite warm today. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. No, it's really nice here.
Yeah,
Here.
lovely.
Really, really nice.
Lovely.
So let's see, 36 on. Lots of people joining. Let's see, can I get Mr. Telly? I'm not sure if, oh, there you are, Dr. Chitrali. You should be able to, you can, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, yeah.
Oh, very good. Very
Okay. Good
Welcome
evening,
along.
everyone. Hello, Noel.
Hello, Dr. Trolley.
Hello, Dr. Raj. Hello, everyone.
So the sad news is Dr. Brennan will not be with us tonight. He didn't make last week either, but he has a course on Wednesday nights, so he won't be able to make tonight. But we'll have two doctors anyway, and I'm expecting Dr. Naheed to come on as well. So we'll have plenty of people to answer your questions. We have our Solstice party next Tuesday, the 21st of June. So we always try to celebrate the major days, the equinoxes and the solstice. So yeah, we'll have a little party next Tuesday. I sent an email out about it. So if you want to say a poem or sing a song or tell a story or anything like that, just send me an email. I've had a few responses, so we have a few entertainers already, but we can do it a few more as well, you know. So that'll be next Tuesday, the 21st. I think I'll be over in the west of Ireland, but I should be able to get good internet even if it's through my phone. So I might be outdoors doing this, but anyway, that's even better, you know. So it's incredible the length of the days in Ireland at the moment. Like the sun, it doesn't seem to get dark. I mean, I know the sun goes down around 10 to 10, but it doesn't seem to get dark till about 10:30. And if you wake up at 3:30 or 4:45, it's bright again, you know. So it's really, really long days. And June the 21st is going to represent the longest day of the year when the sun gets to its most northerly point. And it's also, I read today, when the rays of the sun hit the surface of the northern hemisphere most directly as well. They're most directly pointed at the earth. So it's a very auspicious day all over the world. Particularly well in the southern hemisphere, it's their shortest day of the year. So they're now looking forward to it getting longer, whereas we're going to have the days getting shorter. But it's a very auspicious day, and we always like to celebrate those days. So try come on next Tuesday if you can. Depending on the number of entertainers we have, it will be an hour or an hour and a half. It'll just be a way of marketing the occasion, you know. So let's see how many people we have on. Okay, so we've 47. So I'm just looking at some of the names here. If there's any new people here, because I'm always aware that new people might be joining us. Hopefully new people are joining us. So the way we communicate with one another is obviously everybody's muted except for the doctors, because otherwise it would just be chaos. So what you do is to put, if you have a question you want to ask, you just put it into the chat box. So is it, so yeah, right, that's fine, you do that, but I'm not sure if you can unmute yourself. Just not ask me if you want. So if, yeah, you just, if you're new to Zoom, you'll see, if you bring your cursor down to the bottom of the screen, you'll see you have a lot of different icons there. And one of those icons is a chat box. And if you just click on that, and then you'll be able to put your question in there. Just make sure your question is going to everybody, not one particular person, you know. So you can just click on that chat box, and then you can just put your question in there. And then I'll be reading out the questions, and the doctors will pick up on the questions that they want, or I'll assign them to them, and then we'll try get through as many questions as possible. I'm also aware of the fact that it's summertime. well, actually, June the 21st is the official first day of summer, but it's really summertime now, you know, and we mightn't have so many people on, but still, it doesn't make any difference. We'll still take whatever questions we have. So we 55 people on at the moment. Well, you can go ahead and start putting questions in if you have any. Just to say, we had a tremendous response to our arthritis webinar that we put up on Facebook and offered to people for free. Really, I was astounded by the reaction we had. We had over 13,000 clicks on the post that we put up, and we've had well over 1,000 people download that video and watch it. So that's really helping to spread Ayurvedic knowledge. That was a fantastic webinar. Must be about an hour and a half to 2 hours long, and it's great information in it. And it's great to see so many people interested in natural ways of dealing with arthritis. So we're going to do the same thing again. Our next webinar, I'm going to make it available for free, will be our dementia webinar, and that's even a longer webinar. It was a 2-hour webinar with Dr. Brennan talking about the Bredesen protocol, and then I think Dr. Naheed and Dr. Rajvinder. I don't think Dr. Chitrali was on that webinar, but Dr. Naheed and Dr. Rajvinder talking about the Ayurvedic approach to maintain health, you know. So let's just take a look. Maybe we'll just take a look at what chats are coming in. Okay, so what I'd like to do just to test out the Naheed is there. Okay, sorry, I'll unmute Naheed. I want just to test out the system for new people. If you're new on the call, if you've never been on one of our Zoom calls on a Q&A or anything like that, if you just go to the chat box and just type in the word new, N-E-W, and then press return. I'd just like to see how many people are maybe we've no new people on. See, maybe we have. Hi, Dr. Naheed.
Hi, Noel. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, very
So
good.
when did you say the summer starts in Ireland? Is 31st?
Traditionally, the 21st of the summer
20.
solstice. It falls on the 21st or the 22nd. Traditionally, that's being the start of summer, even though some people would consider summer starting a bit earlier. But traditionally, it's if you look in the almanac or something like that, it'll always give the beginning of summer as the 21st of June, or the longest day of the year. Which is, and it's funny because it's the start of summer, but it's the days start getting shorter, you know. The days are getting longer at the moment after the 21st of June. I mean, the days are still incredibly long because we're so far north, but they do start getting a bit shorter, you know. So yeah, that's the first day of summer really. So we're really still in spring and coming into summer, you know. So Sarah Kavanagh says, what skincare regime and products do you doctors recommend for a Pitta person who suffers from acne, rosacea? Rajvinder, you've dealt with this one quite a lot, I think. I think you've had some very good luck with it, good results with it. I'll just unmute you there.
Okay, yeah, thank you. That is a quite vast topic when I work with patients with rosacea, Sarah, because there could be why, first of all, you might be a Pitta constitution person, and then why your Pitta is so blocked that is causing that issue on the skin. So first, as a Pitta organ, liver is the main thing. So we need to work on the liver and the Rakta Dhatu, which means the food you're eating, it is causing too much of blood into the liver and too much heat in your blood. So need to work on the blood tissue as well. And so again, back to liver, as liver is the part for the blood. And so there is some kind of blockage. This could be either a nourishment issue or blockage issue. So that's how I would look at it. And so on the top of my brain, I can say the product that I normally use is Radiant Skin, and I have very good results. And the skin soother oil is also very beneficial. But I would go into detail about the diet and lifestyle and see what else is there that can correct. Sometimes a lot of emotional disturbance could be there. You could be in an autopilot mode that is causing too much heat in your system. So yeah, so there is no one product that can fix this, because sometimes you need to give something for the hormones, cooling the hormones. I was working with the girl lately. She was working in the gym as a personal trainer, and she was on a lot of red meat, and she was mad about building muscles and all. So we had to work around that, how we can maintain her muscles and how we can calm down the heat from her blood. So yeah, so it could be a little detox that you have to do, and might have to change little things, or might have to have cooling spices. So Pitta Churna is one of the cooling spices to start with, and cutting down on the warming, like cutting down on the red meat, for example, which can create a lot of heat. So it's all the cooling for food for your liver. That's what it needs. And sea swimming could be beneficial. So I would say Radiant Skin and Skin Soother to start with.
Okay. Actually, I saw some pictures you posted of a girl that had rosacea, and I mean, there was massive improvements.
Oh, massive. She used to
Yeah.
go tomato red
Yeah.
every
Okay,
time.
but it's very important what you said there, because you know, Ayurveda, it's not about just giving products, even though herbalism is a huge thing in Ayurveda, but it's not the number one thing in Ayurveda. The number one thing is diet and lifestyle. It's always diet and lifestyle. And if you don't get the diet and lifestyle right, the herbs are not going to be as effective as if you get the diet and lifestyle right. So, I mean, that's what it was emphasized to me in that Ayurveda course that I did recently by the Dr. Gordana. She said diet and lifestyle and routine are the number one thing.
Yes, sorry, no, cutting you. What Ayurveda say, we are not treating the symptom, we are treating the person. So that's the main philosophy in Ayurveda.
You're treating the person. So Rajvinder, maybe you could just type into Sarah there what those products are. But I think, Sarah, if it's something that's of great concern to you, I think a consultation is probably warranted as well. But Rajvinder will put in some things there. So Alan says namaskar. So Alan, namaskar to you as well. I'm very well. I hope everybody else is well as well. Abigail Rose says, could Triphala disturb Vata if taken for a fairly long time in small amounts? So Dr. Naheed, maybe you'll answer that.
Yeah, sure. So if you are taking any herbs for a longer time, I would suggest that give a little break in between, when you're taking it for too long. So for example, you take it like maybe for 6 or 8 weeks, put a gap of maybe around 2 weeks and then restart. Triphala as such, if you're taking it in a small amount, should not cause a lot of problem or disturb your vata like out of the place. But definitely vata has Triphala has an ingredient called haritaki, which is very drying kind of in nature. And as in a whole, Triphala is in drying in nature. So if you're planning to have it for too long, I would recommend have it along with ghee. And Triphala is not only like good for your eyes or like good for your constipation, but it's as in a whole a very good rasayana, a very good rejuvenative herb. So if you're taking it for too long along with ghee, it should be rejuvenating all your cells and correct your metabolic effect. So people, those who suffer with constipation, and if they are having like very dry kind of very hard kind of stool, so they should opt for some other kind of laxative or kind of thing, not to stick with the Triphala, because Triphala is kind of drying and it may not give you the best result with constipation if you're having like a lot of hard kind of stool and if you're straining a lot while you're passing stool. So if you're taking it in a small amount, so with the small amount, I would say 3 to 5 gram, like maybe a teaspoon, you're okay. You can take it. There is no problem.
Okay. It's one of the herbs that, I mean, I take Triphala regularly. I think it's one of the best of the herbs, really, because it just keeps your gut. It used to be called colon cleanse as well, is one of the names for it. So it just keeps your gut very, very clean. Anyway, Margaret has a question which I think will probably resonate with a lot of people. After an adequate meal, including all 6 tastes, I find it very difficult to stop eating. I wonder about pitta imbalance, but not showing any other signs of that. I can definitely relate to that. I do have a tendency to overeat, but maybe Dr. Chitrali, you might have some input on that. Why would that be if you've had a big meal, but you still want to keep going?
Yeah. So the first thing is, if you have not done detox anytime, please go for that. So detox is one of the thing which will clear up all the toxins. And if you are getting false cravings, that will also help to reduce. And again, if you are a pitta person and if the pitta is imbalanced, of course, you will have more of hunger cramps. So like you can start taking even cumin, coriander and fennel seed water every day. So you have to take around 1 liter of water in a kettle and put one teaspoon of each cumin, coriander and fennel seeds, and just boil it for 5 to 10 minutes, and then you can sip that water throughout the day, and it should be sipped warm. Try to sip it warm. So it will help to eliminate the extra toxins, and even it will help to reduce the hunger cramps which you are having every time.
Yeah, good advice. Actually, I find the detox is a great way. My habits are very good when I finish the detox. I'm actually doing the detox myself this week because I missed it in spring because I was away, you know. So I just did it myself, well, under Dr. Rajvinder's supervision actually. But I just find it great when you finish that. You just tend to naturally do the right things for a while, and then the old habits start creeping back in. But anyway, you can just keep trying. So Lorraine says she's new, so welcome along, Lorraine, and Victoria is new as well, so welcome along, Victoria. Chandrika says, can you please tell me about upper back pain? Dr. Raj, maybe upper back pain?
Chandrika, you need to figure out, need more details. How long is that happening? Is it a posture related? Because sometimes if you're working on a computer, you're bending too much forward, that could be causing pain. So you can do Epsom salt bath. Magnesium is very good to relax the muscles, or go for a nice massage. We have wonderful joint seed oil that's also good to relax the muscles. How long is the pain there? Is it chronic or it is recently? So there could be a lot of different reasons for that back pain. Okay, so that might be coming from your cervical area, or where exactly is the pain. So I can say osteo relief tablets. I'll type that in, MA1673. Try that, and you can also try the magnesium bath.
Okay, Raj. Yeah, so it really needs a little bit more investigation to see what's happening there to be able to recommend something correctly. Next question I'm going to answer myself. It says, what would the doctors recommend for high cholesterol? I'm on Lipitor and was wondering if you could recommend something more natural. What I'd recommend is you read a book called The Great Cholesterol Con. The Great Cholesterol Con by Dr. Michael McKittrick, a Scottish doctor. And then read that first, and then decide if high cholesterol is even a problem for you. Okay, if you then decide that you want to reduce your cholesterol level, I would recommend you take a product called red rice yeast. Red rice yeast is where statins come from, and it has the same effect at reducing cholesterol, but about 1/20th of the side effects. But after reading that book, you might decide that high cholesterol is not an issue for you. And actual factors, some research came out of Japan recently on 150,000 people that said the higher your cholesterol, the longer you lived. Okay, but I'm not going to go into it too much here, but read the book is the best thing to do, is what I'd advise. But if you want something natural to reduce your cholesterol, and I'm not advising that you do reduce your cholesterol, but if you want something natural to reduce your cholesterol, then red rice yeast is a product. You'll get it in most health food shops. We sell the Cytoplan one on our website, but it's very common and it's used to reduce cholesterol. This is an interesting comment from Margaret. Not being able to stop eating has only occurred since the spring detox I did with the doctors. So I'm not sure what's going on there. That's definitely not what's supposed to happen, you know. But yeah, sure, maybe Margaret, I don't know who your Ayurvedic doctor is. I mean, maybe you have deal with Dr. Rajvinder or Dr. Naheed or one of the doctors. So maybe you could talk to one of them about that. So Sarah says, I'm taking liver care and Amla Berry and have changed diet as per consultation with Dr. Brennan. So looking to see what I should actually be putting on my face each day. Thanks. That's maybe back to the
Pitta cream, if you can get for her.
Yeah, there's a company up in Carlingford do creams specifically for that condition. I was actually there a while back. I can't remember. Can you remember the name of the company, Dr. Rajvinder?
Let me find out. I think.
Yeah, if you just Google Carlingford and rosacea and just see what comes up, because there is a company that have skincare creams specifically for that. But Pitta skincare cream, but I don't think we can get that at the moment.
I can recommend one like simple home remedy. You
okay,
can take licorice powder and mix little bit of milk into that and just apply it over your face. So keep it for around 5 to 10 minutes and then you can just wash it off. So this will help to reduce the excess heat in your body, and that it will not help to reduce the puffiness or the redness, redness will reduce, and even the burning sensation which you have, that will also help to reduce with this.
Okay, so maybe you can just type that directly to her.
Yep. Yeah.
If you can, you
So
know.
that's
So someone
Finca.
feel. Sorry, Raj.
Finca Skin Organics. I typed that in.
Yeah, okay. So there, I saw that company up there. Actually, I was walking in Carlingford with Dr. Brennan about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we were in a coffee shop, and they had all their products in the coffee shop. So I showed it to Dr. Brennan, and it looked very interesting. And we wanted to get more information about it, but the person wasn't there at the time. But they, you know, so Google that particular company, and maybe there might be some products that they have that might work. So Fiona says, can you suggest something to help me digest fat? I would like to cook with ghee, but fat can upset my stomach. Yeah, yeah, that's a tricky one.
Trickatu. Yeah.
Okay.
Trickatu is a spice.
So a spoonful of that before the meal.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. Trickatu, Fiona. Try that and see how you get on with that. That'll stir up your digestion, you know. So Sarah Wheeler says, hello everyone. Thank you for the Q&A, Noel and doctors. 2 questions. I'm mainly Vata Pitta, having acupuncture and Chinese herbs for eczema on feet and ankles and very dry skin on body since March. I've been told I need to give up dairy, but I have been advised by Ayurveda practitioners that milk and ghee are very pacifying for Vata. I am confused. Can you help? Question 2, advice on the arthritis webinar not to cross legs. Can you clarify? Does that mean crossing legs at the knees or the ankles? Yoga poses which involve crossing legs. I think it's crossing legs for a long period of time, not really in a yoga pose. But Dr. Naheed, I think you know a little bit more about that.
Yeah, sure. So crossing legs, when I say that, I mean that when you're sitting in a chair or in your couch and you are sitting like your knees, like maybe your right knees on your left knees, or maybe your left knees over your right knees. So it put pressure on your tendons. So that might lead to tendinitis, that might lead to put a lot of pressure on your knees. And there are some, like I was reading somewhere, like there's some research that people who sit cross-legged more often, they also tend to have constipation. So stop sitting cross-legged when you're sitting in a chair or maybe in a couch. Just try to sit with both of your legs on the floor. And
okay,
is there any more questions?
Yeah, there was about the milk and ghee, being told not to take dairy, and then Ayurveda saying that it's good for, like, you know, there's a lot of debate over milk, and I can understand why, because, you know, I mean, there's just so many environmental issues and animal cruelty issues and all sorts of stuff. But like, milk has always been revered in Ayurveda, and cows themselves are revered as well in Ayurveda. The way cows are treated I mean, if you read the Vedic texts about the way a cow should be milked and the way a cow should be treated, it's so different to what happens nowadays, you know, absolutely so different to what happens nowadays. But we can't get away from the fact that, you know, Ayurveda is primarily lacto-vegetarian. We know many people want to go vegan, and that's fine. If you don't use ghee in the cooking, you can use coconut oil. And I wouldn't be, you know, saying to anybody, don't go vegan. That's a personal choice that they do. But look, what I would advise there is give it up and see if things improve for you. Just the proof of the pudding is in the tasting. So if you're being told not to take dairy, then, you know, you want to try and see, does it have an effect on your system, then don't take it for a month or two and see how you feel after, if it makes any difference. And if you miss it and you want to take it back, I mean, there's lots of other ways of pacifying Vata, not just milk and ghee, but so try it and see how you get on. I'd say it would be the best thing to do, you know. So Florence asks, what herbs and foods to balance Pitta, please? So Chitrali, maybe just balancing Pitta. I think you already said them anyway, but a minute ago. But
yeah, so foods for Vata and Pitta imbalance, right?
For Pitta imbalance, just Pitta imbalance.
For Pitta imbalance. Okay, so first thing is pomegranate is one of the very good fruit which helps to balance the Pitta. So start taking pomegranate, or pomegranate juice is also good to reduce Pitta. Try not to have tomatoes, and even spices like anything red chili or green chili. Try not to have a lot of spices, and try to have takra. That also helps to balance the Pitta as well. And
what's takra?
Takra, yeah. So takra is the salted lassi. So salted lassi, how you have to prepare. So take like 1 tablespoon of natural yogurt and whisk it well in a glass, and then add 1 glass of water to it. You can add a little bit of rock salt and cumin powder to it, and just drink it along with your meal. So try to have it for lunch. In between your lunch, you can have that. So that also helps to cool your body, and it helps to even digest well. Then again, you can even include more of fruits and even ghee in your diet. So ghee also helps to reduce pitta in your body. And try to have like fruits, sweet fruits like pear and apple, and pomegranate is the main fruit which you can have. And that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, pitta, as we know, we know there's 5 elements out there: fire, water, space, and pitta is made of fire and water. So it's a hot dosha. So that's why we wouldn't recommend chilies, especially red chilies. And go for some of the cooling spices in your cooking, like coriander and fennel. And I think cardamom is a really nice spice for pitta people as well. And pitta churna, actually, you could get pitta churna
Yeah.
put on your food as well. And just avoid all processed foods, but we avoid them anyway, you know. And things like rice and dal and the lassi and cooling foods and coconut and pomegranate, all those things are balancing for pitta. I think there might be a list of them on our website, actually, if you look up under the pitta dosha, you know. So Antoinette says, can the tea from detox be used instead of cumin, fennel, and coriander? Well, some of those teas do have cumin, fennel, and coriander in them. But the thing about it is that probably if you're making it from the seeds directly, it's probably going to be a little bit more potent. But if you don't have time to do that, then just take a look at the ingredients on the maybe which one, Rajvinder, would have cumin, coriander, and fennel? Would that be the kaffir tea?
Yeah. This time it was kaffir tea, so it would have cinnamon as well, ginger as well, cumin, coriander. So if you're a kaffir constitution, yes, you can do that, absolutely.
Yeah, so the kaffir tea would work out there. So dry eyes, can you suggest remedies? Naheed, dry eyes, you're an expert on that.
Yeah. So yeah, of course you can like whenever there is a dryness, it means in Ayurveda opposite balances. So you have to lubricate that part with ghee, with oil, or based on your body type. So when it comes to eyes, I would suggest ghee is the best thing, because your eyes is the pitta organ, and ghee is one of the most important and like very soothing kind of stuff to balance your pitta. So how you can do that, whether it's your homemade ghee, or if you're buying it, if you're buying it, buy a good one which is like made very nicely and doesn't have like any kind of smell or something like that. So you can melt your ghee, test it in your, like in this region, whether you can tolerate the temperature or not. Then put it into there is a eye bath available in stores like called Optrax. So you can pour that in that and just place it over your eyes. Okay, so that's actually mimicking a therapy, very popular therapy in Ayurveda named as Tarpana. That helps to nourish your eyes, that strengthens your vision, and obviously that's going to reduce the dryness of your eyes.
Yeah, I've
And
had
the
Netratarpana done. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny. It's a pit for pitta people. It can be a little. I didn't really like it that much. I mean, we used to get the eye bath every day, but they used to put the thing on a mold on your eyes and then pour the ghee in on top of it. And then you had to open your eyes. But
Yeah,
actually,
and that's kind of a burning sensation.
yeah, there's
Like
a little
you feel
burn.
a
Yeah,
kind of,
but
yeah.
if you're going to do it yourself at home, I mean, just be sure that the oil is. I mean, it's melted and it's liquid, but don't have it hot. Don't have it hot.
Yeah.
And in actual fact,
Yes.
maybe it might be better to, you know, organize a treatment with one of the doctors for it to start with, until you know exactly what you're doing, you know. But it is a very, very common treatment for dry eyes is Netratarpana, you know. So it is one of the things that you can do.
And if you think that putting it in a Optrex cap and it will be like too much, then simply you can take some ghee and just try to massage with the pulp of your finger. So your ring finger are the lightest, like it puts a very less pressure on your eyes. So try to massage with your ring finger around your eyes. That will also help to reduce
Okay,
dryness.
that's probably a good way to start, actually, to try start, you know. So the next question, I'm going to get tripped up on the pronunciation, so just bear with me. I'm sure one of the doctors will jump in to correct me, but hello everyone, I have a question. What would the doctors recommend for Dupuytren's contracture on the hand? Is it possible to treat it with Ayurveda? So Rajvinder, have you heard of this particular?
Yeah, I know. Julie used to have it.
All right.
One of the teacher.
Yeah, I know Julie. Yeah.
It is very much of a Vata condition. I'm not sure what is your constitution, Sally. And so it is all the drying, so that there is a dryness happening into the tendon area, and that's where the shape deformity is happening in the hands. So it's a lot of internal oleation. So dry is one of the kind of characteristic quality of Vata. So when it gets to a level where it's too much in the body, we start feeling crackling sounds in the knees, your bones crack, and then the tendon get too dry, and then these kind of conditions, contraction with the tendons and all that happen. So I think it's a deep Vata imbalance, so that's what you need to correct. I'm not sure how far the condition is gone. If it's dealt in the early stages, we can prevent it to go further. And then there are some marma points, like this is the Shipra marma, and I don't know. Yeah, okay. So the perpendicular pressure with the thumb on the next of the other hand, like you're needling acupuncture needle. So you're putting that pressure on this particular marma, which is here is a little dip when you stretch your finger. So hopefully you can do that, and you press that 21 times every day. And then another marma is a mani bandha. So this one, so you hold it like that and then press and release. So just practice religiously that couple of times in a day, and hopefully it will improve the blood flow to that, and it will bring some life to the tendons.
Yeah, and what I recommend that you do is you watch the Vata lesson in our 7-lesson course. Anyone that hasn't done our 7-lesson course is not going to understand, you know, some of the things we're talking about here, Vata, Pitta, Kapha. We use these terminologies like they're just everyday common there, which they are for us, but for new people, they won't understand them. But you need to do the 7-lesson course. It's free. It's on our website. You can register for it. A brilliant course, and it'll give you a deep understanding. But Cecilia, if you've already done that course, but you just want to go over the Vata one, then just go back to the Vata lesson. If you can't find it, send me an email, noel@ayurveda.ie, I'll send you the lesson itself and read up about Vata, because it is a Vata condition. You know?
So for her,
the next one. Sorry,
just
Raj.
finish that. Sorry. For her, massaging the joint with dashmul oil will be very good, because dashmul oil is very good for Vata, and we have that available. So
okay.
try.
So if you just stick that and just spell that in and just send it back to Cecilia, and dashmul oil is good oil for that. So Martin Bates says, my son wants to go to Dr. Krishna Raju in Hyderabad. I've been there, Martin, a good few years back. I did Panchakarma there for 21 days. I loved it. He was there for 2 months in 2050, but I wonder if there's anything similar in clinic treatment in the UK, Ireland. I can tell you there's nothing similar at the moment in Ireland. There is in the UK, in Skelmersdale. They have an absolutely fabulous Panchakarma clinic, but you'd want to check out the costs for doing a month, or you know, normally people do a few days treatment. One of the things about going to India is obviously it's a fraction of the price. You have your flight involved and all of that, but it tends to be a bit cheaper. But there is a clinic. If you, it's Skelmersdale, just Google Panchakarma Clinic Skelmersdale. That's SKELMERSDALE. I know a lot of the technicians there. They're absolutely fabulous. David Evans, and just fabulous technicians. Maharishi Ayurveda trained technicians. And I couldn't, you know, Dr. Brennan was there recently. He did a week's Panchakarma there, and he came back and he, you know, he said he just loved it. I don't think he'd bother go to India again, because he just do shorter. Because going to India, obviously, you're upsetting your clock as well. I mean, you've got to get. I love going to India anyway, so just doing Panchakarma is a bonus on top of it. But certainly that clinic exists there, Martin, and you can just look it up and see what the costs are. You know, those red rice lower cholesterol too. I'm not sure about that. I don't think so. Rajvinder, do you know if red rice on its own, or is it the red rice? Red rice.
I actually got good result. Yeah, you have to go with the dose that's said on the bottle, 3 at the night time, and then once the markers come down, then you reduce it. And I combine it with the cholesterol balance Maharishi Ayurveda, which is MA1596, and of course.
But is that the red rice yeast or just red rice, Rajvinder?
Red rice East Plus.
Oh no, this is just red rice. The person
Just
is
the
asking
red
if red rice.
Oh
on
no, the food red rice. No.
Yeah,
If
no.
Actually, the red rice, it has good qualities because it balances all the 3 doshas, like the Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, and it gives good strength and energy to your bones, and even it helps in digestion well, and it improves metabolism as well. So it is good for I would
better
say
than
for
eating
Vata
white
person. Yeah, Vata person, it is good because Vata and Pitta person. But if you are a like Kapha quality person, then you should have it in a lesser quantity.
Okay. So Elaine Donnelly says, I'm in perimenopause and I take warm milk with shatavari, ashwagandha, turmeric, green cardamom, ginger, nutmeg, and black pepper most nights. I am getting mild heart palpitations. I wonder if this may be aggravated to heart, or are they just another symptom of perimenopause? So if so, can I take anything to soothe the heart? So you see the ingredients there. I'll just read them out again. Shatavari, ashwagandha, turmeric, green cardamom, ginger, nutmeg, black pepper in warm milk. I'm not sure if that was prescribed to you by somebody, Elaine, or but so Rajvinder, or do you think would that have an effect on the heart?
I think she has a lot of warming spices there. Shatavari, ashwagandha is cardamom is perfect, and get rid of the others and see if that helps because the warming spices. Shatavari, ashwagandha, and cardamom. Just keep that and get rid of the ginger, black pepper, turmeric, nutmeg because that might be causing too much heat coming to the summer in the pitta season now, and see if that helps. Otherwise, you might shatavari, you increase the dose of shatavari, just separate from your milk. That will help. Palpitation, if you didn't have it in the beginning, and if it just started after taking this milk, so it just could be because of just the milk. It may not be the symptom. Some people could have palpitation and weakness if they're very much Vata constitution. So that could happen. Might be your blood pressure dropping in the nighttime. So make sure you eat a substantial dinner if you're a Vata person. Otherwise, MA222, combine that, and that will, because of Amla, Ashwagandha, Shatavari, 3 ingredients in it, that will also calm down the palpitation. So, but first, reduce the warming.
Yeah, change the ingredients in the milk. Yeah. Seems like a lot, all right, yeah. Alan Austin doesn't like the fact that he can't cross his legs, so he's wondering, will alternating the knees be helpful? Alan, you're just trying to get around things there, so we don't cross our legs. Naheed, what are you saying to that?
Yeah, do not cross your leg.
Not cross the leg.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
don't overdo it.
So someone is saying, miss the online sessions. Nadine, I think it is. How often will you have them now? You know, I'm not sure over the summer how often we're going to have them. Like, I mean, normally we have about 200 people on these calls, and 76 at the moment. So I think a lot of people are going to be on holidays, and I'm going to be away a lot myself in July and August. So what we're planning is, I mean, we've big plans for the autumn, both in terms of, you know, getting Ayurvedic knowledge out there and trying to draw in more and more people. I was very encouraged by the response to the arthritis webinar. I mean, very, very encouraged to have 13,000 link clicks on a Facebook post. To me is, you know, I mean, I'm sure there's lots of people out there that's nothing to them, but to me, that's a big amount of people actually clicking and looking for, you know, to have arthritis that are looking for some alternatives, you know. So we have such a huge, vast range of knowledge. Some of the webinars we've done have been just fantastic. So I intend to use them as a way of attracting people into it. And if we get the numbers signing up for the newsletters and signing up for the things, then we'll do a Q&A every week. There's no reason why. I mean, all the doctors don't have to be on, just the ones that can come on that night. So I would hope by the autumn we'll be doing these once a week, but we'll see, you know. So Oscari says, what is the Ayurvedic perspective on eye problems like glaucoma, epithemal basement membrane, dystrophy, etc.? Do you have any videos, webinars about this topic? Very interesting thing. I saw a tweet recently about the ex-president of Kenya, and his daughter was going blind, and they had tried everything in Western medicine and in Chinese medicine and different medicines, and then he ended up going to an Ayurvedic clinic in
Kerala.
Kochi, in Kerala, yeah, in Kochi. You saw that as well, Naheed, did you?
Yeah, right.
And he was on. She regained her eyesight, and he went and visited the Prime Minister Modi, and he pleaded with Modi to make Ayurvedic knowledge more known throughout the world. Of course, Modi is that's what he wants to do, is make Ayurvedic knowledge. He does everything he can, you know. But he was overwhelmed with what had happened with it, you know. Now, I'm not an expert in Ayurvedic eye treatments, but I know there are lots of different Ayurvedic eye treatments, and I'm sure all of the things that I mentioned there can be helped through different eye exercises and different things. But I'm not aware of any videos, or we haven't specifically ourselves done a webinar. Is anybody aware of any videos on that topic, or where you might?
We haven't done specifically on those topics. Glaucoma is like the pressure in your eyes, and then just so eyes are like a pitta organ. So then you're looking into, if you are just the basic, I'm just going to cover basic. So see, you have pitta is an imbalance, and again, as I said earlier, if you're looking into pitta, you're looking into your liver and into your blood tissues, so you can start working. So Amla Berry MA1 is a good product to take for that, and Indian gooseberry, or I think Ireland has, Western has their own different kind of gooseberries. So that those fruits are very good. Dr. Chitrali talked about pomegranate, brilliant, beautiful for eyes and liver. And so you can work on that. There's a special branch, ENT of Ayurveda. There's a whole
actually, yeah, we have a webinar on it. Dr. Naheed covered it in the ear,
simple basics.
Yeah, actually, we do have a webinar on it. We cover the eyes quite a lot in that webinar. So if you go to our website and go look in the shop and go to webinars, you can rent that webinar if you want to do, you know. And I'm just looking, there's just a little tiny picture of a Scary there, and I'm just looking at this picture, and he definitely looks like he's Pitta anyway, you know. So very clear looking, and you know, so yeah, so you can do that. You can look at the Pitta lesson, and you can also, because as Rajvinder says, eyes are a Pitta organ, and also you can go to the ear, eyes, nose, throat webinar that Dr.
And then the biggest thing, Noel, is the bedtime is very important for Pitta, because most of the time we are going midnight to the bed. So 10 to 2 is the time when Pitta is very high in the day, and 10 to 2 is the time in the night when Pitta is very high. So when Pitta is high in the night time, that's the time for liver to relax and clean all the toxins. And if you're not sleeping by that time, and maybe we are on technology, TV and all that, so of course these problems, the Pitta problems, going to be very dominant. So just by changing that, like you go to bed by 10 and take a break from technology, you can help your eyes a lot. And like Dr. Naheed said, in general, even if you don't have dry eyes, a little bit of ghee massage or coconut oil massage on your eyes, oil pulling, nasya, putting oil into your nostrils, all these simple basic things that we have covered in the lessons. If you even start doing those, you can prevent a lot of these issues.
Okay, I was thinking I find that art. Sorry, Dr. Naheed.
Yeah, and simple herbs like licorice and like amla can help you to strengthen your vision. So start having it in a small amount, and it will help you with it.
Okay, I'll see can I find that article about the Kenyan president's daughter, and I'll put it in an email when I'm sending out the
replay. I was searching that for.
Yeah, if you can find it, Dr. Naheed, send it to me, because I mean he was so passionate about it. The man was so well. Obviously, the daughter was so happy as well. Like she regained her vision, but her father was just delighted for her. Like it was like he was going to devote the rest of his life to promoting Ayurveda, you know, and I think Ayurveda is quite big in Kenya, actually. But anyway, we'll see can we find that as well, you know. So E. Braden says, hi, what would you recommend for a young lady with glandular fever and very low immunity, infection after infection? Possibly a consultation, but Dr. Chitrali, maybe we have some general pointers we can give.
Yeah, so basically, we need to know what's the age and what kind of infection he or she is getting. So for immunity, you should start with basic is Chyawanprash, or even Amrit Kalash, which we have. That is also one of the good herb which we are having now for immunity. But then we have to go for a deep consultation to talk more about it.
Yeah. Also, I would recommend if the girl is open to it, to do the 7-lesson Ayurveda course, because
Yeah.
this is a whole lifestyle thing, getting the immunity back strong, and it's by creating ojas. And ojas is your vitality and your strength, and it's a whole lifestyle thing. There isn't just one herb that you take that's going to boost up your immunity. And it's about everything. It's about your bedtime, it's about your meal time, it's about the food that you're eating, it's about your attitude to life, it's about your attitude to the people around you, it's about your environment, everything. So she should definitely do that 7-lesson course if she's open to the thing.
And we
And
do have one webinar which we did on immunity recently in
we had a
January.
webinar at the beginning of the year, more
Yeah.
in line with what was going on with COVID, and we had the Indian ambassador on it. But it's
Yeah.
worth looking at. It's on our YouTube channel. Everybody should subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then like we put out, we've great videos on that YouTube channel about different things. Dr. Brennan made like lots and lots of videos in the early days, short ones, like only 10-15 minutes. And now we have all these Q&As are up there, and a lot of the webinars that we do for free, and the cookery courses are up. Some cookery courses are up there, and a lot of free content on that YouTube channel. So please subscribe to that, and it's there, So, but yeah, like with very low immunity, infection after infection, she needs to do something about that. So my advice is to start off with that 7-lesson course, and then if she thinks Ayurveda is something that she'd like to pursue, then she should go and have a consultation with one of the doctors. What advice for someone who seems predominantly Pitta and has skin issues? Well, skin is a Pitta organ, so that's most likely that they may be Pitta. Very dry red patches on the shins and across nose, chin, forehead. He just ran the Wicklow Way recently, and his face was inflamed afterwards, looked raw. Well, the Wicklow Way is, to my knowledge, quite a long distance, because I think Dr. Brennan actually walked it, and I'm not sure if he ran the whole thing, but I think the Wicklow Way is a couple of 100 kilometers long, as far as I know. So, I mean, he would have been out in the sun, and if he didn't have sun protection, I even was in Strand Hill last weekend just surfing, and I came back in and I hadn't put on sunscreen. I was only out for about an hour, and I could feel my face just, and it wasn't even sunny that day. So we have to be aware, even if there's clouds in the sky, that the sun is still coming through and we're outdoors. So we need to protect our face. But Dr. Naheed, have you any suggestions for that?
Yeah, so inflammation is definitely related to Pitta, and you are already telling that the person is predominantly Pitta person. So I would say if anything is coming on a skin like too often, then there must be a consideration on your liver. So because liver is the major site of your Pitta. So anything like if your liver is not working properly, then there could be skin patches, skin discoloration, and inflammation. So we have a very good combination of herb called liver care. It comes in syrup and tablet both. Start taking it before your midday meal, because midday time is the Pitta time, and try focusing on Pitta. So because summer is here, so start focusing on having more kind of a cooling foods and cooling fruits and cooling vegetables like cucumber, like zucchini, like cardamom, fennel in your spices. And watermelon is a very cooling. Pomegranate is one of the very good fruit to balance your pitta and your digestive tract as well. We do have a herb called Katuki in our website, but I would say if you start taking that, have a consultation with any of the physician before you do that. But that's a brilliant herb for your liver. And I would say hydrate yourself. If you're going on sun, hydrate yourself. If you're very sensitive to skin, try to have some sun protection before you go in the sun.
And the other thing is, we always talk about sunscreens. We had big discussions about that before, and I'm not a fan of commercial sunscreens. And we were being asked about what's the most natural one, and Aloe Pura is the one that I use. And I think some of the doctors looked at it and said it was pretty good. So that's ALOEPURA. I think you can get it in a lot of shops, so you can get it on Amazon as well. The commercial ones, just look at the ingredients, and that will put anybody off putting them on your face. You still do need protection, so something good and natural is a good thing to do. Is it okay to substitute coconut yogurt instead of milk yogurt in lassi? Deirdre, it's okay to do whatever you want, but I mean, it's possibly not going to have the same effect from an Ayurvedic point of view. But if you want to be vegan, then you want to be vegan. So just do the coconut, and if you like it, you like it. I I like cappuccinos myself, even though I haven't had any this week because I'm on the detox, but I quite regularly they wouldn't necessarily be over highly recommended in Ayurveda, but not unrecommended either. But I use coconut milk in them, and I quite like it, you know. And I put a little bit of Avipatica churna as well to take away any of the acidity from it, you know. So yeah, I think nobody's going to stop you from doing it, but whether it has the same effect on your physiology as milk yogurt is it wouldn't have. It would have a different effect, you know. If you're going, people want to use milk, try get non-hydrogenated milk if they can, you know. There was one called Lily. I think Tesco used to sell it, you know, but you'd have to check up and see if it's still there, you know. Doesn't matter when one is taking a number of Ayurvedic herbals to take them together. I'm on turmeric, ashwagandha, 332 and 222. Valerie, your Ayurvedic physician should have told you, go back on your notes. The Ayurvedic physicians will tell you when to take those tablets. And if you're self-medicating, well, we're not really big fans of self-medicating anyway, but if you are self-medicating, I don't imagine you're self-medicating 222 because most of the herbs on our website mean nothing. And that's the way we want it, because we really don't want people. We want people to have a prescription from an Ayurvedic doctor so they know what they're taking. So I think, Valerie, at some stage, you just have to go back in your notes and your Ayurvedic physician would have told you when to take those tablets. And quite possibly they're not supposed to be taken together. But if you need to just drop whoever recommended them to you an email just to re-clarify when to take them, I think that's something you could do as well, you know. Best Ayurvedic treatment for hay fever, please. We just recently did a webinar on that with Dr. Chitrali. That's only last week. It's a big thing in the news at the moment. I've heard it on the radio again today. And the thing that always strikes me is that when Western medicine is talking about hay fever and things like this, their advice is to avoid whatever's agitating you, the pollens and things like that, wearing a mask and all these things, which is fine. That's common sense, you know. And also then they're talking about medication that you can take to suppress the symptoms, antihistamines and things like that. They never, ever address things like your diet, your lifestyle, why this particular thing is having this effect in your physiology when it's not having the same effect on somebody else's physiology. And is there something you can do about that? So Dr. Chitrali is a fantastic webinar on that. It's up on our website. But if you want to say a few words about that, Dr. Chitrali, if there's any specific treatment you just want to give there to
yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah. So simple herbs, like I will just talk about single herbs now. So holy basil, then turmeric, and then ginger, licorice, even haritaki, and long pepper, black pepper, clove. So these are the herbs or the spices which are really helpful for hay fever. And you can look into the webinar which I have stated. Even you have to follow a good diet and lifestyle. That is also very important because it builds up your immunity. So when your immunity is low, you will have all kind of allergies, or even this hay fever is one kind of allergy. So these are all seasonal allergies, and you should be very careful with your body, what you are eating and how is your daily lifestyle. So you can go through the webinar.
Yeah, the webinar is there, and actually a spring detox is to do it before the season of allergies even comes in, to purify your system so it can deal with these things. There's lots of information given out in the webinar. I remember you mentioned one thing in the webinar about some little quick remedy that people can take.
Yeah.
What was that again? Do you remember?
Yeah, so it is like if you have an attack of sneezing or any kind of other thing like running nose or something, so you can just take a clove and black pepper. So one of each, put it under one of your teeth and just suck it all the time. So this will help to reduce that symptom at that moment.
Very good, clove and black pepper. So maybe you just respond to Yvonne there if you can, Chitrali, just put in some of those things directly to her.
Yep.
Her
Okay,
chat,
sure,
you know.
sure.
No, sorry, it wasn't Yvonne. Sorry, Yvonne is the next person. It was M-U-N-I-R-A. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, Munira. Yeah,
Munira. Yeah. Okay, so Yvonne, actually, on to Yvonne now. Any advice for a twitch in the right eyelid happening approximately 2 weeks on and off? Rajvinder, a twitch in the right eyelid.
Yeah, that could be, you might be experiencing a bit of vata going on. That could be the trigeminal nerve and one of the branch of the nerve involved. So I would say you do the nasya, the nasal drops, oil pulling, and you can take, I don't want to prescribe ashwagandha because sometimes it doesn't go well with people. So Brahmi is very safe. You take Brahmi powder, 1 teaspoon morning and evening. And again, there are certain very nice marma points that's in the middle of the eyebrow. So you can tap on that. It's just like give it a little deep kind of press and release, press and release, and then one in the cheekbone, the copula murmur. So you can. So this is all like these are the branches of trigeminal nerve which you can press on. So eyebrow, even you can do third eye at the sides of the eyebrows and on the cheek. So even if you do these 3-4 points, okay. So oil pulling, nasya, and one of the brain nerve tonic, Brahmi, and they will be very beneficial.
Okay,
So
nasya is putting the oil up your nose and inhaling, and it's sesame oil with herbs in it, and it's said to be good for everything above the neck, things like migraine and congestion and sinuses and all this. And movement, you just have to, for the more experienced people here on Ayurveda, you can know what the problem is, because it's twitch and movement, and which dosha is movement? Well, Vata is movement. We know that Vata is movement, so it's a Vata.
Yeah, good point, Noel. Yeah, so make sure you're not constipated, and the apana vata, which is downward flow of the air, is good, because sometimes if the flow of apana vata is on the other way around, that can cause disturbance in the prana. So this is related to the prana vayu, one of the subtype of the vata, which we have covered in the lessons. Yeah.
I was thinking the other day we might do an Ayurvedic quiz, because we've so many people that are very familiar with Ayurveda. We might have an old Ayurveda quiz some night, just see how everybody's getting on and come up with some questions.
And even I'll just add one point.
Yeah.
Just try to avoid going in cold weather or windy weather. Try to protect yourself.
Yeah. It'll aggravate Vata, yeah. So Alan asks, what is the advantage of DC cow's ghee, please? I don't know that there's any advantage to it, but I don't even know what it is. Anyone know what it is?
Jersey cows, Desi cow. There is A1 and A2 type of milk and ghee. Oh yeah, perfect if you can have access to it.
How come you're so knowledgeable, Dr. Rajvinder? How do you know all these things? You're like an encyclopedia Britannica. Okay, so is there any? You recommend it? You think it's a good?
Yes. I need to double check. Is it A2 type milk, which is very good for people, because it's from Jersey cows, and most of the time nowadays cows are mostly hybrid, so that's why people are getting more and more sensitivity to milk. But if you have access to Jersey cow's milk, which is Desi cow in Indian terminology, so it's wonderful. It's very hard to get access to those products, but if you have.
Okay, Alan, well, there you have it. If you can get access to it, go ahead and do it, Trina Hallen, are there foods suggested for people with lupus? Lupus was one of the things we covered in our arthritis webinar, as far as I remember. Treatments or routines that may help. And Dr. Naheed, I think, will we go to you?
Yeah, sure. So lupus is mostly a pitta kind of situation and somewhat like related to your ama. So I would suggest try to digest your ama first. You can do that simply with having warm water, having low, like kind of fasting kind of detoxification of your body once a week. So you just be on a khichdi diet for your lunch and like a moong dal soup for your evening meal, and don't have anything in between, and just keep sipping hot water. That will help to reduce your ama. And pitta balancing and the sleep time, as Dr. Rajvinder said, that for a pitta person the sleep time is very important, because 10 to 2 p.m. is the pitta time, and that's when your body gets regenerated. Like anything which is going wrong within the body, it has a self regenerative kind of activity between 10 to 2 p.m. So try to have a good night's sleep, go on a walk, try to focus on healthy eating, try to focus on not having incompatible diet, because that increases your ama and that might lead to more of aggravating your symptoms. Yeah, and I think with lupus kind of thing, you start with having a consultation like any of the physician, because they will help you to understand in what stage you are and like how intense or how mild treatment you are needing at the moment.
Very good. And I think it was covered in our webinar, and that's the webinar that we're giving out for free at the moment. So Trina, I think maybe you got the email on that and you can know the link to go and see that webinar. So, and Naheed, I'll stay with you because would ghee be treatment good for cysts on eyelids also?
No, I won't say that for the cyst kind of thing you go with a ghee treatment, because cyst is more related kind of a kapha kind of problem. So I would suggest that in my webinar, I mentioned that you make a potli. So potli is like kind of in a small cloth, you take all the spices and you make like a knot over that. So it just like, look, how do you say, like a poultice kind of. So you can use neem. There is a herb called neem, which is available in our website. You can take dry ginger and you can take little bit of rock salt. So all these things will help to reduce your swelling. You just need to tie all this together and just try to put it over the swelling of your eyes. That's it.
Okay, very good. So Sally Hayden says, no, your sound is varying, sometimes fades out. Sorry about that, Sally. I don't know that I'm doing anything here. So I don't know what that is, what that issue is. So Siobhan, maybe it's another Siobhan. Any advice on twitch under the left eye, which is persistent for a week or two, same as the twitch under the other twitch we talked about a few minutes ago, a Vata thing. So I think the same things will apply to that, you know. Breda says, I'm going through COVID at the moment. What can I do to speed up recovery? Breda, look at our COVID video from January with the Indian ambassador and Dr. Brennan and all the doctors. Plenty of rest. You know, start taking things to boost your immunity. Maybe Rajvinder, you can remember some of the things from someone just recovering from COVID.
Yes, so depends on what symptoms you have. So make sure you have your regular vitamins, supplements, vitamin C and zinc and vitamin D anyway. And we have iron defense, so you can take that. And tiredness is one of the more symptoms that you're left with. So just be patient around it and take a lot of rest. Don't rush to work or anything too much. Rest is the key. And if you're having any throat problem, throat soothe syrup is brilliant. And so you just put into a tablespoon into warm water. So sip it like a tea. And then it has camphor. It will release the camphor and really feel it. So that is wonderful. One good one if you have any problem around the throat and nose. If you can tolerate the nasal drops, that will be good. If you have any problem in the area, if you're having mucus, then the Citrali, I'll type that in, and Trico2, mix both powders, take it with honey after every 2 hours. So small amount after every 2 hours, like a half teaspoon. Light diet, don't eat anything too heavy. Avoid too much of dairy and bread, or just stick. If you are familiar with khichdi, I would say just eat khichdi, or just make soups so that you have soups you can eat. And because the problem is with the COVID, people get tired and it's very difficult to cook. So then it's easy to reach bread and something like that. So if it's possible, avoid that and go for light diet and lots of rest. Then
yeah, and it depends on where you are in it as well, and if you're coming out of it. I mean, MA630 is the herb we were recommending for people when they got COVID, and I mean that. And also there's one called Aryu Defense, which was a new one that Maharishi Ayurveda brought out. So MA630 and Aryu Defense, but it just depends on where you are on it. Maybe you're just getting better, and for a lot of people it's no big deal really, you know. And obviously for a lot of people it is a big deal, but anyway, it just depends on where you're on. But plenty of rest anyway is the one, and good nourishing foods, and you know the usual things when you're feeling sick. You know, not too much pressure on you. Allow your natural immunity to deal with the situation. Mary, I'm sorry, I did see your question at the start, and for some reason I didn't ask. I didn't ask it. I don't know what I got caught up with there, but my blood today show neutrophilus, so the doctors will correct me on that, at 0.86. I have to have repeated tomorrow, but my face is very swollen and body feels puffed. What would be the cause of this? How can I increase? There are always low, and I am never really sick, although I don't feel myself in the past while. I have no energy, very depressed, on levothyroxine, Prozac, and Rivitol, and a calci chew. So I don't know who wants to take that.
Anybody wants to take it, otherwise I can take it.
Go ahead, Dr. Rajvinder.
Okay, neutrophils, you never had any problem, so I don't think you need to worry about that. But you're saying that you have puffy face now because of it, so it seems like it's hitting. So it is one of your immune system. I wonder if it's the hay fever season that's causing that your immune system is struggling. Did you recently have the COVID that could be causing that, or was there any other infection that you have recovered? Were you on antibiotics, steroid, any kind of that type of treatments in the past? So you look into that. So again, when in Ayurveda we talk about ojas, so ojas is like the essence of the food when food is fully digested. So if your ojas is low, so your immune system could behave like that. So your neutrophils could be low, eosinophils could be high, so the blood markers could go up and down. So at the moment you're worried, and what can you do? And I need to see your medication again. What were you on? So I would say you can start on Amrit Kalash. Amrit Kalash is a wonderful product for this particular problem, because that's kind of help to enhance the immunity. And B complex, vitamin B12, vitamin B6 could be very beneficial, and then vitamin C. So just start with that. You make sure you're sleeping on time, your bedtime is good, you have a good sleep. And so these are the simple things, but of course need to know more details, like your digestive history or your sleep, and all the other things around it. Your thyroid could be a little bit off as well. That
Yeah,
could be
she's on
causing
levothyroxine.
Is she on that? Okay, yeah. So that could be just because of that. So yeah. So to reduce
We have a
the
webinar on the thyroid as well. I think there's a lot going on there, and it might be, if you want to follow an Ayurvedic thing, it might be no harm to have a consultation with a doctor. You know? There's a lot of things going on. Really, you don't want to be on some of that medication for.
Like I just share this. I had a lady, her platelets were rising for no reason, and she had no symptoms. So simply, I just put her something to clear her liver, and her next blood test, it came normal. So it was a relief. Okay, it wasn't causing any trouble. So just accept. She also started to develop some edema around the knees, the swelling you were developing around the face. So it could be something very seasonal, which is very common in this transition time of the season from spring to summer, when the heat build up, puffiness around the body could build up as well.
Okay, Raj, that's very comprehensive. Thank you. Abigail says, you mentioned further training. Can you tell us more about that? Thanks. Yeah, Abigail, we'll do a webinar on that soon. I know I've said that a few times, but just incredibly busy here. But we are going to be doing a 500-hour course. And let me try and organize that webinar for the next fortnight. And the course itself won't be starting probably till October, but we want to start finding out the level of interest in that. So just, you're on our email list, Abigail. So just everybody, make sure you put Noel at ayurveda.ie into your contacts, because an awful lot of people say to me, oh, I didn't get that email, or I didn't get that. And the chances are you did, but it just went into your spam folder, or if you're on Gmail, it went into your promotions or your social folder. So just put Noel at ayurveda.ie, add me to your contacts, and then our newsletters will end up in your inbox, and you'll see it, you know. Trina Hanlon says, our Try This webinar was excellent. Thank you. It was, Trina, it was fantastic. As I said, we made that webinar. It's available for free. I'll show people where they can get it at the end of the talk now. We had over 13,000 link clicks on the Facebook post I did about it, and we had well over 1,000 people download the webinar. We had the comments. If you go to the Facebook post and look at the comments, there's over 100 comments on it, and they're just fantastic. And there wasn't one single negative comment, which is very unusual, I can tell you, as someone who uses Facebook to do advertising. Very unusual that you don't get people posting some form of negativity. There was only one guy, and what he said was that he said, I bet you all those comments are made up, you know, which none of them were. They were all put in by them genuinely by people that had seen the webinar and stuff like that. But that's not even a negative comment. It's just an observation. So I wouldn't worry about that, you know. But I'll show you at the end for people, and also our brain health webinar, which we're making available as well. Any thoughts on taking folks over to India, please? No, definitely something I'm thinking about for December. I'd like to do Panchakarma myself in India. I'm probably trying to persuade one of the doctors to come with me, and it would be a great pleasure to take people to India. I've done it lots of times, and I just love going there, and I love bringing people there and showing them the place. So let me think a bit further about that. If I'm going to be doing it, it'll be late November, early December. It'll be 2 weeks, and it'll be definitely northern India. So it'll be flying into Delhi, and then going up to Rishikesh, which is on the banks of the Ganges, and doing treks from there and visiting ashrams and doing a bit of rafting on the Ganges and taking in the sights and the sounds. And I just need to get back in touch with some of my contacts over there just to see. I know the whole place was shut down during COVID, so I just want to see if the hotels I used to use are still available and all that. But definitely, I'd say more than 50% possibility I'll do that this Christmas. You know, Antoinette Flanagan, I have amla powder. Do I put it in yogurt or make tea? I put it in curry. Can I put it in lassi? Amla powder, what's the best way to take amla powder? Rajvinder, you're the food expert.
You can use in the cooking. I won't say you put into the lassi, just don't take it with dairy products because of the after effect. That's kind of a incompatible food combination kind of thing. So you just take it into little water, or if you're making celery juice or any little bit of that kind of juice, you can mix into that if it's hard to take because it has a slightly astringent taste. So you can do it that way, or mix it with a little bit aloe vera juice as well, make a paste if it's easier that way, whatever way suits you. So liquid and not the dairy.
Okay, so Yvonne says it was an overnight run. That's the Wicklow way, and so not a sun issue. It was a night run. It's 130k, I think. I presume he didn't run the whole 130k, but anyway, it's going to put a lot of pressure on your body one way or the other.
But you can suggest putting aloe vera like you did for your face.
Yeah, you can put it on it anyway.
Yeah, if the shins are very red, just do the aloe vera.
So Noreen says, I have half a jar of Chyawanprash as I have had COVID recently. I don't feel the need to take it at the moment. Will it be okay to store the open jar in case I need it in the future? Noreen, I just finish it off. Just take it and use it. It'll harden over time anyway. So it's a great rasayana. It's a great strengthener. So just take a spoonful in the morning time. Just take it. It is okay to seal it and put it in a press, but you know, there'll be a best before date on it. But my advice would be just to use it. I wear sunscreen all the time in summer. Is this not blocking the process of creating vitamin D? Yeah, Noreen, it probably is blocking the process of creating vitamin D. So, yeah, it's long exposure to the sun is short exposure to the sun, and maybe not at midday is good. You don't need to put sunscreen on for short exposure, you know, to get your vitamin D for, you know, not in really direct strong sunlight, but in midday. Like, I'd only ever put sunscreen on my face, and even then I sometimes forget to do it. As regards on my body, like if I feel there's too much sun, I just put a shirt on or a t-shirt on, and then there's no need. But you can still expose your skin to the sun. Like I'm outdoors all the time, you know. But yeah, it would block the process of creating vitamin D. I would imagine it does. Anyone have any opinion on sunscreen?
I would say early morning and the late evening sun exposure is very good for your body, and you don't only do it for 20 to 30 minutes. That's enough for vitamin D.
That's what I would have thought.
If you're going to do sunbathing or you're going by the sea, then yeah, definitely you kind of put a sunscreen and go for mineral based. Try not, there are two types of sunscreens out there, mineral based or chemical based. If it's possible, go for mineral based, which is normal zinc oxide. That's safe enough. So naturally, like carrot oil, raspberry oil, they are fine for mild exposure to the sun if you have access to those. So yeah, so if you're exposing to very high sun, strong sun, which can get in Europe, it can get quite strong to your skin. Then
yeah, and if you happen to have very dark skin, then you might need to supplement with vitamin D, because obviously the dark skin is for, you know, where the sun is brighter and things like that. That's how it came about. And then you're in a country where you don't have so much sun, and you might be lacking in vitamin D. So it might be necessary to keep an eye on your vitamin D if you have much darker skin. You know? Can you recommend mosquito repellent and afterbite?
In health store they do one, mosquito repellent. It's a natural one.
I actually have one. Hang on a second.
In Ayurveda, it will be the neem oil, which we consider very good for mosquito. And if you have a bite, MA630 tablet, which we use for malaria or mosquito, you crush it and put it on the bite site. That could be very good. Or the access to any bitter herb like dandelion, crush it, get the juice out, and squeeze the juice of dandelion or nettle on the bite area. Honey could be very good as well.
Yeah, there's one. I use one from Forest Essentials because I go to India a lot of the day. It's just a herb infused.
No, your voice is fading now. You know
Okay.
it.
Yeah, there are natural ones that you can get, you know. What is the best time to have ashwagandha, before or after a meal, Naheed?
I would say that totally depends on why are you taking it, because ashwagandha is a vata balancing herb. That's also good for your nervous system as well. But it depends why are you taking it. If you're just focusing on balancing your vata, then I would say take it in the evening time. If you're taking it as a rejuvenating kind of herb, then I would say take it at the bedtime, because the night time is best to have this kind of rasayana to balance your nerve, or like to balance your vata, or as just a rasayana effect. So it depends why are you taking
Why
it.
are you taking? Yeah, very good point. Can you recommend the toothpaste without fluoride, please? Yes, Fiona, we have Ayurvedic herbal toothpaste on our website, classic and mild. So just go to the shop section, go to the cosmetics, go to the dental care, and you'll see we've toothpaste, we've tooth gum, we've mouthwash, we've tooth powder, we've loads of stuff for dental hygiene. So yeah, they're on that website there. Abigail says, which subsection of Vata is it that disturbs speech? Any suggestions for clear, non-hesitating speech? Thank you. So I think I know which one it is, but I'll let one of the doctors answer that.
Maybe Dr. Chitrali can take that.
Yeah. So for speech, basically, oil pulling is the best thing. So if you have a vata condition, like if you have stammering of voice or dryness in your mouth, so oil pulling is one of the best remedy to overcome this. And even try to do this at least twice a day. So how you have to do is take sesame oil, and then around 10 ml of sesame oil, put it in your mouth, squish it in your mouth for around 5 minutes, hold it, and then you can just spit it out, and then take warm water and then do a gargle, and you can spit that out. So this is how you have to do the oil cleaning.
Yeah. I
Noel,
think it's
maybe you can.
Udana Vata, is it?
Yes, Udana.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say the same.
Udana Vata is the throat
Udana
ulcer.
vata. Yeah,
Yeah.
Udana vata.
Yeah. And we
Okay.
have a throat soothe, if you want to improve the voice, throat soothe tablets, little tiny, and you can keep on sucking on them.
Yes, and meditation is going to be great for
Yeah,
prana.
meditation is like
going to be
good
great
for
having clear
everything.
speech.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
rasayana as well, like any of the rasayana, because there is some depletion in your vata, so a rasayana could help to improve your speech as well.
Yeah, yeah. Noel, could Dr. Naheed do a webinar on incompatible foods? Yes, I think she
That's
could.
on my bucket list, so I am researching, to be honest.
You're too
because
young to have a bucket list. But anyway, it's on your list.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We have a lot of webinars planned for the autumn time. We have a lot of webinars. Dr. Rajvinder is going to do one on the menopause, and I'm encouraging the doctors to come up, even if it's topics that's not going to be very broad, that's just going to be very specific things. But still, a lot of people are going to have that, and so I'm
I might
encouraging.
do one on the sleep end of June or early July. Just
do one on sleep. Yeah, I mean, there's thousands of different
debating at
topics
the
you could take
time.
and just have them very direct. You know. Yeah, it's a good idea. Sleep is a problem for a lot of people. You know.
And I'm going to use Roberta for it. Yes.
You're going to use what? Roberta.
Roberta for it.
So Florence says, could Dr. Raj type in the chat box the names of the things to take? She mentioned re-COVID. So Raj, maybe you could do
you
that.
did already.
Oh, you did it already. Okay, Florence, if you scroll back up the chats, you'll find them there, you know. Trina says, thank you for your time for this Q&A. Always so informative. Thank you. That's no problem, Trina. Thank you. Siddhapalati Trikatu Tulsi for the lungs. Incompatible food group info would be very much appreciated. So that's Dr. Naheed. Throat soup syrup. My 84-year-old mother feels faint and nauseous from time to time, usually related to having a thing occupying her mind and so getting anxious. She has had so many heart checks and blood pressure checks, colonoscopies, etc. in relation to this, and gets the all clear. I'm wondering if you might have an alternative advice for her. Faint and nauseous from time to time, usually related to having things occupying our mind and so gets anxious.
Again, it is like vata imbalance, looking at the age. So basically, try to have like cardamom powder and warm milk along with little bit of sugar into that. So just sip that in the morning and at the bedtime. So this will help to calm the vata, and if there is imbalance in pitta as well, so it will reduce that as well, the vata
Okay.
and the pitta.
So the
Any
other thing is, you're never too late to learn to meditate, and meditation is fantastic for
yeah.
anxiety. I've been teaching meditation for since 1997, and it's a wonderful, wonderful thing to do, you know, and it doesn't matter what age you are. It's always great to learn meditation. So that might be good, because anxiety is just a vata thing, and the meditation is fantastic for calming vata, you know. So Mary says, can you please put those in the chat, please, Dr. Rajvinder? And then here's a really great question. Which doctor is best to see? Oh my God. I want to see one soon, as I don't think my thyroid is wrong. It's a symptom of something else. All our doctors are fantastic. So whichever doctor resonates with you, that's all I'd say. I'm not going to recommend a particular doctor. They all have their degrees in Ayurveda. Dr. Brennan, sometimes people like him because he's a medical doctor as well. Sometimes people might prefer just to have a pure Ayurvedic doctor. That's whoever resonates with you. That's all I'd say. Just go with wherever you feel. Yeah, you know, you have a warm feeling towards. That's it. But don't go to more than one doctor. Don't confuse the thing by, you know, seeing one doctor and then another doctor. Just pick an Ayurvedic doctor and just stick with that doctor, you know. Is there a webinar on osteoporosis? There is, Patricia. It's the arthritis webinar, which I'm going to show you now where you can get it. When will you start the 500-hour training, Nadia? We're hoping to start it in October, Nadia, is the plan. What is the best time to have ashwagandha? We answered that. Many thanks for all the wonderful Ayurveda advice. Have to go now. Okay, Robert and Janice, take care. When is the next Q&A? Not too sure, Nadia. As I was saying, I'm not sure about the summertime. What do we have on? We've 68 on now, so that's a very low number for us. But still, it's still good to be giving out the knowledge, you know. But I just don't know. It'll depend on everybody being away in June. I don't think we'll have many in July and August, to be perfectly honest. I'm going to be away a lot, and yeah, I'll be on TM courses and different things. So, but definitely come autumn, we'll be back in stride. But we will keep in touch with people. That's for sure, you know. Abigail, I'd love to go to Rishikesh to do Panchakarma. When would you be planning to go? As I said, December. Thank you. I will have a look. Fiona, thank you for it. Yes, I've seen it. Thank you. Have to go. Okay, so we're getting very close to the end. Could Triphala disturb Vata if taken? Okay, that I've come back around. Okay, I want to share my screen and just show you a few things. So just bear with me while I share the screen. Okay, so I'm going to that down. So this is our website, ayurveda.ie, and there's a couple of things you can do here. You can sign up for the 7-lesson course. If you just click on that banner there, it'll bring you in and you could just register for the 7-lesson course. If you go to services here, you'll see there's information. Well, the online course is there as well, but if you go to our arthritis webinar replay, that'll bring you there, and you can sign up for that. There was a good few people I think haven't seen that. You can just register for your free copy. You put in your email address and you get the copy of the webinar straight away. The other one that we're just making available, I just put it up today actually, is our brain health webinar. We're also making this available free of charge at the moment, you know. So again, you just have to give us the email address and we'll send you, you'll automatically straight away get the webinar. It'll just go back to you straight away. And if you want to share that, if you have friends or any elderly people that you, or anybody that you think might be concerned about dementia or, you know, the health of their brain, then can't actually see it now, but you can see the web address there. You can just send this to people, send them to this page in services, or you can just send them the direct link to it, and they can just register for that webinar themselves, and you just automatically get the free copy of it. Also, there's lots of information under Ayurveda about body type tests and that and all of those things as well. So if you're a bit unsure about some of the things we were talking about this evening, then you can go there. But I strongly advise everybody to do the 7-lesson Ayurveda course. And these things are all free. You know, we've made them available for people for free. So you can see it there, and you just click register and you get 2 lessons a week for 8 weeks. But the last week you only get 1 lesson. And it's a brilliant, brilliant course. So I would encourage everybody to do it. I'm going to stop the share. I'm just going to go back to the chats. So will training be for anyone? Training will be for anyone, yes. Huge thanks. Thank you, Abigail. Thank you. Thank you, Abigail. Fantastic information. Okay, that's it. I think we've reached the end. So listen, I want to say a big thank you to the doctors for coming on. We missed Dr. Benham, but hopefully he'll be on the next one. So a big thank you to Dr. Chitrali, Dr. Naheed, and Dr. Rajvinder. I mean, the depth of Ayurvedic knowledge is just astounding, really. I mean, there isn't anything that comes up that there isn't a way of addressing it, you know, from an Ayurvedic perspective. So it's a huge body of knowledge. And I'm so encouraged by the fact that 13,000 people clicked on that link, because it means that people are out there looking for other solutions than just taking medication. And Ayurveda is really where that's at, because Ayurveda, it just covers so many different angles and so many different things that we can do, you know. So that's great. Thanks a million, everybody. Our Solstice party on the 21st, okay? We need people to recite poems. We can't have a party without entertainers, so we need people to recite poems and sing songs and tell jokes and tell stories or whatever. So that's next Tuesday, the 21st. And God, I hope I have that right. It's either Tuesday or Wednesday, but it's the 21st anyway, whatever day that is, you know. And yeah, so I'll send the link. I'll send a reminder email about that at the weekend. I'll also send a link for where you can register for the brain health webinar. That's fantastic, everybody. Any last words from the doctors? You don't have to say anything, but if you have anything to say.
Thank you, everyone, for this evening. And thank you, Noel, for hosting it every time.
Okay, no problem. My pleasure. My pleasure. Okay, everybody, that's fantastic. Good night. Namaskar.
Thank you.
Talk to you all
Bye.
soon, and we'll be in touch with everybody. And I'll send out the recording tomorrow to everybody. Just give me a few hours
Bye.
in the morning and I'll get it. Thank you. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.